warm welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I am Savindra Jawardhan. Let's look at the top stories for the day. World Bank supports Sri Lanka with $56 million to mitigate COVID-19 impacts. Education system should be transformed to generate a skilled human resources. Education stresses. News in detail. World Bank has reallocated $56 million from ongoing projects in Sri Lanka to protect the most vulnerable in the agriculture sector and improve COVID-19 protection measures on public transport and several other sectors. This new financing complements the $128.6 million Sri Lanka COVID-19 Emergency Response and Health System Preparedness Project, which was approved on the 2nd of April this year. World Bank has reallocated $56 million from ongoing projects in Sri Lanka to protect the most vulnerable in the agriculture sector, improve COVID-19 protection measures on public transport, facilitate tele-education for school children, and provide digital solutions to improve delivery of public services. This new financing complements the $128.6 million Sri Lanka COVID-19 Emergency Response and Health System Preparedness Project, which was approved on April 2nd. World Bank Country Director for Maldives, Nepal and Sri Lanka, Faris Echhadat Zervo, says that they have been working closely with the government of Sri Lanka to support its COVID-19 emergency response and prepare for resilient recovery. He also added that they are moving fast to reallocate financing from existing projects to improve food security and children's education, ensure that people can use public transit without getting sick, and harness digital solutions to continue delivering public services. According to World Bank Country Director, the financing will help poor and vulnerable farming households to purchase seeds and rehabilitate storage facilities to help ensure food security. It will also help facilitate learning at home by tele-education and e-learning for school children, especially in rural, smaller and upper resource schools. Further, the funding will also help create a safe and hygienic school environment for students once in-person lessons resume. The financing will also help ensure that essential public transport is disinfected and equipped with hand sanitizers, protective gear and body temperature screening equipment, and also support a digital document management system to improve public services, to improve collaboration across government using digital technology and video conferencing to facilitate work from home. Director General of the National Institute of Education, Dr. Sunil Jayanthan Navaratna, states the current education system should be transformed to support the industries that provide momentum for the country's growth. Educationist Dr. Navaratna made these observations joining the Art Television's BIS Roundup Special Edition discussion, which will be aired at 6 p.m. this Sunday.
Our service economy is very big. 61.2% is coming from service sector. Then in the service sector, out of the GDP, the biggest contributor is wholesale and retail. Then personal services and transport. So our biggest contributor, 12% is coming from retail sector. All this Sillara Kadakara on the roads are the biggest contributor to the national economy. But in our education system, most of the Sillara Kadakara or workers are O-level failures. But we never teach how to run a Sillara shop, how to treat the customers, how to manage a service sector. No. So our education also outdated. So there should be a link between education and national development. So if you want to develop the nation, we should change our education to support these industries. So public sector for national development, private sector for national development, people sector for national development, and political sector for national development. That is, by 2035, 12,000 per capita income, and we should become a real developed nation. Otherwise, if we go like this, it might get more 100 years to become a developed nation.
New government yesterday revealed that the government has not yet discussed with the Millennium Challenge Corporation about amending the unfavorable conditions of the MCC Compact. capital markets and state enterprises reforms, State Minister Ajit Niwad Cabral made this revelation while responding to a question raised by opposition leader Sajid Premadasa on the proposed agreement with the MCC.
අහන්න කැමති ගරු කතානායකතුමාගෙන් අර ජනතාවට පොරොන්දු වුණු ආකාරයට ජනතාවට පොරොන්දු වුණු ආකාරයට මේක ඉරා දමන්නේ නැද්ද?
The government has not held discussions with Millennium Challenge Corporation and is yet to amend the agreement in a manner so as to remove its clauses that have been deemed detrimental to the country, State Minister Ajit Niwad Cabral told Parliament yesterday. State Minister Cabral said the government had been able to identify the adverse clauses of the agreement through the committee appointed by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to review the compact. He also added that the government would follow the usual procedure when reviewing any international treaty. The opposition leader also questioned back if the government would tear up the MCC agreement as it had pledged to do during the election campaign. He also reminded that the SLPP pledged that it would refrain from signing the MCC agreement during the election campaign. However, State Minister replied that as a responsible government, they appointed a committee to look into the proposed agreement, and the committee report had identified a lot of unfavorable conditions to Sri Lanka in it. Stay tuned for more news right after this break. Welcome back after the break. Nationalist parliamentarian of National People's Power, Dr. Harini Amarasuriya highlights that the unpaid care work, which is mainly done by the females of the country, are not accounted in the discourse of economy. Accordingly, parliamentarian Dr. Harini Amarasuriya brought forward these key observations, making the maiden speech at the parliament yesterday.
මහබැංකු වාර්තාවේ ඒකට අනුව ලංකාවේ කාන්තාවන්ගේ ශ්‍රම බල සහභාගීත්ව අනුපාතිකය එහෙම නැත්නම් female labor force participation rate එක 34.5යි. පිරිමින්ගේ 73යි. මේක පහුගිය අවුරුදු 5 තිස්සේම වගේ වැඩි වෙනසක් වෙලා නැහැ. ඕනනම් දශම කීපයක් එහාට මෙහා වෙලා තියෙනවා. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් average එකක් ගත්තම කාන්තාවන්ගේ female labor participation rate එක ලංකාවේ 35යි. අපේ මේ ප්‍රතිශතය ගත්තම ලෝකේ රටවල් බොහොමයක් එක්ක බලනකොට අපි ඉන්නේ ඉතාමත්ම පහත. If we want an economy that is just, that works for all and not a few, it is essential that we consider and value women's contribution to the unpaid care economy. Not just women's contribution, there are some men also who contribute to the unpaid care economy, and this data must be considered. Without an understanding of these factors, what we have is an incomplete or partial picture of our economy, and decisions and policies that are based on this incomplete, impartial understanding of our economy will necessarily discriminate those who benefit or don't benefit from those decisions.
Transparency International Sri Lanka stresses that the necessity for emergency bills included in the draft bill of the 20th Amendment to the Constitution is a grey area that requires further public discussion. TISL brought forward these observations, convening a media briefing in Colombo yesterday.
I would highlight the area around emergency bills. I think there should be broad consensus around the fact that, based on the lessons from the past as well, the idea that there is enough time to analyze any bill that is gazetted without having to hurry it through, those sorts of things are also quite important. The necessity for emergency bills, things like that, that's also an area which sort of has question marks which require further public discussion to justify the reasons for why it will take place.
Investment management institution First Capital stresses that the stock market recorded the highest intraday gain on Wednesday after 3 weeks, while parcel trades boosted the turnover, amounting to 41% of the total. In the meantime, First Capital further advises the investors to invest cautiously in the current market with the low interest rate.
Stock market witnessed a vigilant start for the week. However, the market reversed the impact seen in the last week on Tuesday on optimism brought by the government. On Wednesday, the market recorded highest intraday gain after 3 weeks, while the parcel trades boost the turnover amongst 41% of the total turnover. And market continue on the positive sentiment of Thursday, giving a hope for a super September, and turnover for the entire week dominated by the capital goods counter led by John Cales. And market continue to record moderate participation for the week, dominated by the selling side results from the foreigners. We feel the market will be on the uptrend till our resistance level of 5,600, and thereafter we might see the selling pressure on the counters which moved in last 3 weeks. And we advise people to cautiously invest in the current market sentiment in the low interest rate.
Stay tuned for more news right after. Welcome back after the break. The trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today. The all-share price index gained 39.37 points to close at 5,438.91, and the S&P SL20 gained 16.39 points to close at 2,359.24. The turnover was 1.6 billion rupees and over 93 million shares were traded. Up next are forex rates. And that's all news for today. See you on Sunday with BIS Roundup Special Edition at 7 p.m. Until then, take care and good night.